So the first tip is actually really important, and sometimes this is actually a little hard for me because I get caught up in something has to be perfect or it has to be done right at this time, and I forget. Tip number one, keep it fun. Seriously, it's like it should be the easiest thing, but for some of us, I think it's the hardest thing. Don't get stressed out. If you want to have a simple, all-natural Christmas, it has to be fun too, right? The easiest way to do that, I think, is Christmas music. We will get out our favorite old vinyl Christmas songs, get the record player started, and it just really sets the mood. So give it a try. Whatever works for you, make sure you keep it fun. By the way, that's probably going to mean that your house is not on the level of Martha Stewart, and that's okay. Tip number two, forage things. Take advantage of the amazing decoration possibilities you have right in your backyard. This part is actually kind of important for us as a family because when you live in New England, you have a very long, dark winter. And I think it's so important to make yourself get outside. Now, once sugar season hits, we are outside daily collecting our sap and checking our syrup lines. So that's always a good motivator. But up until then, we have a long winter. So we'll do sometimes crazy things like go ice skating in our marsh, which is definitely not the ideal situation. We also try to get out and go hiking. We might need snowshoes because there might be many feet of snow when we want to go hiking. Snowmobiles are great to get you out. And of course, just regular old farm chores, taking care of the animals means you need to get outside and get some fresh air. But it's fun to combine that necessity, that need of fresh air, with the Christmas decorating. Go out and scour the woods, collect pine branches, look for pine cones, and like dried leaves, even just twigs, definitely vines. All of those things that you can find could be great sources for decoration. So then use those vines and the evergreen branches to make wreaths, to make swags. It's really simple to just cut the branches, tie them together with twine, and lay them over mantles or across doorways, wherever you can think of to use an evergreen swag. And then take your pine cones and just use twine or fishing wire to attach them to your wreaths or your swags. You can even, if you have the right place to do it, just drape that swag over something, you know? In fact, we have an old bridle holder that used to be in a barn, actually, in PA, and we have it hanging in our TV room. I literally took a long pine branch and I just laid it over top of that bridle holder. My daughters are still kind of making fun of me and they don't really like it, but I like it. It puts some evergreen there and it was a really simple way to do that. The third tip is to keep the tree simple, at least sometimes. If you're like me, you do have certain traditions that you love to follow with the tree, certain ornaments that you always use and they bring back such great memories, and that's great. But I challenge you, at least once in a while, to keep it even more simple than that. I think sometimes those things that we do year after year that bring up the fond memories get kind of old and rote if we literally do it every year, right? So don't feel bad taking a year off. Leave all those special ornaments in a box. Leave them in the attic for 1 year. And instead, just do a really simple tree. Just use natural decorations like pine cones and dried oranges, or make a garland out of pine cones, or make a garland out of beech tree bark. You just peel the bark off and staple it together as a garland. Or of course, there's always a popcorn garland. Who doesn't love that, right? For us this year, we went even more simpler than just the ornaments. We went really simple with the tree. We actually could not connect with our neighbor who owns a tree farm behind our property. Every year, we'll just walk to the tree farm, pick out our tree, and cart it back with our four-wheeler. It's a wonderful tradition. We love doing it, but this year we couldn't connect with the neighbor and we just couldn't get there. So this year, the girls looked at me and said, you know, we're in the mood for a Charlie Brown tree, and we can just go cut it down right now and put up our tree. And I went, okay. So that's what we did. We went and picked a tree just in our field, cut it down with regular old clippers. That's how small it is. And you know what, I'm going to tell you how I did the setup. So if you by any chance are inspired to have a Charlie Brown tray, you can mimic this same setup. It was really easy. You just need to get a fermenting crock, or it could be like a wooden barrel, or I mean actually any kind of thing you might have that is the same size and that's sturdy. So whatever you use, once you have that base figured out, then you just need anything that you're going to have for a vase. Like you could actually use a tall vase. I just grabbed a half-gallon mason jar. I seem to grab those for a lot of things, but it works great for this. And then I put the jar in the center of my crock, and around the jar I stuffed it with old towels. We have a bunch of towels that we keep when we no longer use them for ourselves, you know. I use them for things like this. So I stuffed those old towels around the mason jar. That was just to give it some sturdiness, because I have a feeling more than once this Charlie Brown tree is going to get toppled over. And I thought that way it would keep the glass from shattering and a big mess. So then, once I had that all centered, I got some masking tape, really high tech here. And I crisscrossed the masking tape around the tree until it was held upright and seemed pretty sturdy. Then I took one more old towel and laid it around the top, instead of a tree skirt kind of a look, to cover all that masking tape. I actually started off with a red and white checkered pair of really old pants. I tell you this because you really can be creative. It doesn't have to be a towel. If you don't have a towel the color that you want to use, it can be any kind of fabric, even an old piece of clothing like an old skirt or an old pair of pants. This was a pair of pants we never actually wore as pants, but I remember getting it at a thrift store because I liked the fabric and I thought I could use that for Christmas decorating. And I have torn pieces off of these pants year after year to use for strips for hanging ornaments. But what was left of the pants, I had wrapped around the tree, and it looked okay. I wasn't crazy with that. I wanted to go with the plain white towel instead of the bright red to attract attention to it. So anyway, so it's simple. If you want to have a simple Charlie Brown tree, you can do it. And in the end, I think it turned out okay. Okay, so now for tip number 4. Even though I've been telling you all along to keep it real, I also want to let you know it's totally okay to be kind of artificial too. I actually have many places in the house that I have added something fake or artificial to the real, or vice versa even, for a couple different reasons. For instance, over our mantle, over our wood stove, I couldn't put real there. I tried it, and we always had the wood stove burning, so it caused all of the real stuff to turn brown within a day, and within 2 days, all the needles had fallen off, and that's actually a fire hazard to have that right over the burning wood stove. So, couldn't do real there. It's okay. I used a piece of fake greenery, and then I just wrapped some buffalo plaid ribbon and some red and natural wood colored beads, and of course some twinkle lights, because twinkle lights solve all the world's problems at Christmas time, yes? Now on the mantle over our fireplace in our TV room, there I could put the all natural greenery and just drape it across the mantle, because we don't use that fireplace a lot, and when we do, it doesn't generate the heat that the wood stove does, and it works out fine there. So there it's okay. And then in our kitchen, I could also use the real evergreen. I actually made a long swag that I put all over the whole area of the fireplace. And for that, I just cut the evergreens, tied them all together with twine one at a time, and then, you know what? Paper clips? Not paper clips. That wouldn't work, I don't think. Thumbtacks are great for hanging up things like garlands and wreaths. If you have the right situation, the right wallboard and all that, it works for us. So I just use thumbtacks to hang the swag over the kitchen mantle. But a few other places that I have a whole lot of artificial, there's a basket, again, over the wood stove mantle, that I did put a few greens in the basket, but it wasn't enough color. So I added an artificial piece of green that had a little bit of red berries, and I added a red ornament and a sparkly ornament and some pine cones just to give it, you know, some color. So it's okay to stick the artificial in with the real greenery. Totally good. Another place that I really like doing it is with our Advent wreath. We have an artificial wreath that has the 4 candle holders, and it just looks so artificial. But I like that it's just one piece, and I like that it's fake because it's so easy. It doesn't fall apart on me, and it doesn't lose its needles on the table. Plus, I have to move it often because we're always using the table for other things. So I want to be able to quickly pick up the wreath and take it off the table. So I like that it's an artificial one, but I want it to look pretty. So I'll just stick natural evergreen pieces throughout the wreath. And this year I just stuck some orange slices and I got some pine cones and stuck them on, and we were good to go. Okay, you all know, if you follow me for any length of time or you follow my podcast, you know that my mantra is simple doesn't mean easy. And that is also true with a simple Christmas. But it's so worth it. And it's a good kind of work, because my next point, tip number 5, is to make things with the kids. Yes, it takes extra time. Yes, it's definitely more complicated than just pulling a pre-made ornament out of a box. But it's worth it. When Kayla told me this Christmas how she remembered as a kid, she never told me this before, she remembered as a kid watching me with the grapevines that I had collected, making them into a circle and, gently tucking the extra pieces in to make a complete full circle. And she remembers watching that and thinking it was magical. And I kind of had like super abilities, like I was kind of superhuman. And then this year, she was telling me this story as she was standing in the middle of our family room with literally evergreens and branches and pine cones strung all across the floor. We had gotten down like an old quilt and laid it out to kind of keep things contained, but it was still a mess. She's standing amongst all of that, and she has these grapevines around her feet, and she's working and making her wreaths. And she's telling me that story. And it was magical for me. It was like this right here. Yeah, it was hard. Yeah, it took a few hours out of my evening. Maybe I was going to spend it a different way. I had some work I was going to get done, but the girls said, hey, Mom, let's go collect grapevine wreaths and some dried leaves in the marsh, and let's make some cool wreaths. Who's going to say no to that? Of course. I said yes, and I was glad I did. Anyway, so make wreaths with the kids, and they'll think you're superhuman when they watch you. Salto ornaments. Who doesn't love salto ornaments? They're so easy. They're so fun. I'll leave directions in the description of the video. And you can make them in so many ways, so many shapes. You can paint them. You can leave them unpainted. Another great thing to make with kids is an actual garland. Just get twine, put the holes in the right place on your salto ornaments, add some dried fruit, maybe some cinnamon sticks, some old ribbon, and make a whole garland out of their ornaments. How fun is that, right? And then you also can make a garland out of letters. I actually did this. We have it hanging over our tree this year, which I think is kind of a good point that it's making, because our tree is so simple and so scraggly and scrawny and almost embarrassing. But it's literally pointing to the words, "Come let us adore him." And that's what it's all about. It's not about adoring my perfect tree that I spent hours getting just right. It's about Christ. That's what Christmas is all about. So I like the placement this year, especially of our word garland, if that's what you want to call it. But it's really simple to do. If you have some burlap and you have some self-adhesive interfacing, you can get it at Joann's or any craft store that has sewing supplies. And you lay the burlap on top of the interfacing, we'll stick it on, and then cut out your letters and put holes in them in the right places, string them on some twine, and you have a really cool decoration that you can use again and again in lots of different ways every year. And finally, the last tip number 6, scour the barn or your attic or your basement. Look all over the corners of your house where you have stashed away things that you've never even thought of as Christmas, and you might be shocked at what you find. I'll give you an example for me this year. I had 2 coffee tables that were bare, and I spent days staring at these bare coffee tables thinking, how do I want to decorate them for Christmas? I was elated that I spent, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes digging around our barn attic. I was so excited with what I found. And it was like an aha moment. Like I couldn't believe I hadn't thought of this in the first place. I came across 2 pieces that were my grandmom's that are absolutely perfect for Christmas decorating. She had an old enamel serving tray. Now the tray itself is not a Christmas tray, but it has a gorgeous red trim on it. The tray has like a flower cart on it, so it's very summery. But as soon as I saw that red trim, I knew I wanted to use this in my TV room on the coffee table. So I gathered up armfuls of stuff that I thought might work. Not sure what I was going to actually display on the tray, but I knew I needed to cover over that flower cart and keep it Christmassy looking, of course. So I brought down like candle holders and pottery, whatever I could find that might work for on top of this tray. I wound up using just two very simple tin buckets that I filled with evergreens, and then I surrounded those buckets with pine cones. And it looks so cute. I think it might be my favorite decoration this year. And it was just something that I found in the attic. Now, the other piece of my grandmom's enamelware that I undug from boxes in my attic was a cake pan. And it has this gorgeous green trim around it. Again, perfect for Christmas. So I brought that down, and that one was even easier for me to fill. I knew it would be nice to lay evergreens in, so I got lots of branches of evergreen, and I added a buffalo plaid ribbon, and I went back and forth. I put a few sparkly ornaments, I tried some pine cones, and then in the end, I remembered what do I want to call it? It's a very unique piece that a daughter made for me, a pottery poinsettia flower that also holds a candle in the center. And I love this piece, and it looks perfect, just nestled inside of the pine branches and the pine cones. And it makes me so happy. Every time I look at that decoration, I smile. It has the combination of my grandmom's pan, my daughter's beautiful flowers she made me, just makes me happy. On top of that, all this evergreen inside the house smells so good. It's like absolute Christmas. In fact, a friend came over yesterday and she said, "Oh, your house smells like Christmas." And I went, yes, that's one of the goals. So there you have it. Those are my 6 tips for how you can keep Christmas a little more simple this year. I hope you have a wonderful one.